I've seen over and over again what I believe to be absolutely true. Mr. Cook dearly loves his children. If that were the case, he'd have given up a long time ago, given the many obstacles that Ms. Spar has thrown in the way over the years, trying to interfere with Mr. Cook having a reasonable parental relationship with his children. And frankly, what I'm seeing is direct parental alienation by Ms. Spar. She is instilling fear in her children. She is telling them things that they should never need to hear. She is instilling fear in them. And she's done damage as a result of that. Kids don't need to hear one parent trashing the other. And Mr. of trashing their mother to them, she's guilty of trashing you to them. All it does is create harm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been successful. Isabel has been as alienated as I've seen a child become, and Chloe's rapidly on the way to being that herself. It's just plainly wrong. So how do we fix it at this point? Clearly, these girls have been alienated against Mr. Cook. They believe that he's a danger to them, but they don't believe that based on truth. They believe that based upon all of the fear that their mother has instilled in them. I don't doubt that Mr. Cook loses his cool on occasion and raises his voice, but he's not a danger to either one of these children. He never has been. He never will be. The danger is what mom is doing. Ma'am, if you unmute your phone again, I am going to kick you out of this hearing. Do not do it. Is that clear? How do we get off this point and get to some semblance of a reasonable parenting time schedule and a reasonable relationship for Mr. Cook with his children? What I want to do, the referral to the healing place to Dr. Shannon Louder, absolutely, I wanted it followed up on. I want counseling set up for both of the girls through Dr. Louder's office. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to schedule, and Mr. Cook, you're not going to like this, but give it time. There's a goal in mind. I am going to order that a healing place supervise a couple of visits. I want them to see what I believe to be the case, that these girls have no reason to fear you other than what mom has put into their heads. And she's been hard at work doing that. Every chance she gets, she poisons these girls towards you, Mr. Cook, every time. So the first step we're going to do, I want there to be 2 supervised visits with each daughter separately. I do not want them together. They need to be separately. After those 2 visits, I want the parenting time supervisor at a healing place to give the court a report as to how those visits went. I also want the girls immediately enrolled in counseling through whoever it is Dr. Louder assigns from the healing place so that they can start that process. I want the person who's doing the therapy to involve both parents at a time and under such circumstances as the therapist sees fit. I anticipate going to a far more regular parenting time schedule. Part of the problem here is the extent to which these girls have been withheld from Mr. Cook. And while they're being withheld, they're being fed lies by their mother, exaggerations, just over the top, outright parental alienation. So I am going to get busy to write this order. I'm going to warn you, Ms. Spar, each time the child doesn't go to a visit
Right.
is going to cost you a day in jail.
Ooh,
And I'm going to
hold
stand
up.
behind. Sure, your girls know if they're telling you, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Honey, if you don't go, mama's going to have to go to jail. You make sure they know that because it's going to happen. All right. That concludes our hearing.
So putting everything together, I mean, it ended up with this courtroom drama. It's like watching a real life soap opera, but with higher stakes right here. All right, let's just break this down. So we got the first situation where the woman was clearly alienating the man and hiding behind the fact that, oh, it's not a fact that she's scared of them with his new girlfriend or whatever, so he cannot say his kids. But anyway, so let's just go to what this judge says. It will give a clear picture of the whole both situations. You know, she's playing all these mind games, trying to mess with visitations and all that jazz. But let me tell you, when the judge steps in, it's like watching a boss enter the ring. We all know that. And now this judge, he's not messing around. He sees through all the manipulation and calls it out plain and simple. And when he lays down the law about parental alienation, you know that he means business. So he's like, well, you mess with visitations, you go to jail. Boom, mic drop. Something like that. And they took catch how he shut down that whole circus act with the kids in the room. It's like, no, not on my watch. That's some real talk right there when he said, if you unmute that microphone again, well, I am kicking you out of this court hearing. And let's not forget the comments that I came across where the people in general, the community's opinion on this, they were dropping some truth bombs that I saw left, right. So they too, they saw through this smoke and mirrors and calling out the manipulation, and they were standing up for what's right too. So I'd like to know your own take on this whole roller coaster. Hit me up in the comments below, and thanks for tuning in to the OB podcast on another Wild Ride. Usually I bring this to you so that you can chime in and give in your own opinions, because these are things that I know not many people know about, things like this going on. So it's very important that I bring them up to you. Then you can really see the real world, not the fantasy one, like everything is good, everything is okay. No, not everything is okay. People go through a lot in this life. So I'll keep on bringing you these stories and these dramas going on around the world. Thanks for tuning in once again. I'd like to know your thoughts. Cheers.